Illinois has a license rule that is different than most, if not all, other states. And this is what's called the five failure rule. If an applicant for a chiropractic license in Illinois has five or more failures of examinations of boards, at that point, they are not eligible for license until they show and demonstrate professional competency. The way that the rules outline the requirement that comes from that point. So if the applicant has five or more failures of examinations, then they actually have to take what amounts to one full academic year from an accredited college, chiropractic college again. So that would be 960 hours. Now, there is an alternative that would allow them to demonstrate through an accredited chiropractic program or an equivalent formal professional study or training in an accredited chiropractic program, but those actually have to be approved by the division, by IDFPR. Now, the problem with that is many times those probably are going to be approved in advance, and the vast majority of our students are going to be required to obtain an additional year of school, 960 hours. Now that actually is a lot of latitude is given up to the schools, and I know that as far as in the Illinois area, Palmer National and Logan all have programs to assist students or recent graduates, if you will, that need this additional education. They can help you put together those programs. You can contact those schools if you're in this particular situation. One of the questions that we get affiliated with the five failures is, well, how does that work, Mark? Because there are different sections or there are different domains in each one of the exams. So, for example, in parts 1 and 2, there are 6 domains each. And the way it works, if you pass 4 or more domains of each one of those and have to retake because maybe you failed 1 or 2 of the domains, you only have to take those domains that you failed. Now, from what MBCE indicates is if you only pass 3, then you would actually have to take the full domain again. Anytime that you sit down in a session or in a test taking session, at that stage, then that counts as an exam. And so if you fail 6 domains or you fail 1 domain, that still counts as 1 failure in those cases. And then if you come back and retake that exam, and if you fail 1 or more domains for that same part again, then that would count as a second failure. So basically, you can take the total number of times that you've sat for exams in part 1, 2, 3, and 4, subtract 4, and that will give you a quick indicator as to the number of failures that you would have accumulated at this point. NBC, by the way, if you're curious, has statistics for passage rates through 2021 on their website. You can go take a look at that. The average ranges, throughout the, if you will, kind of the low to mid 80s. For the most part, some of the parts, part 3, for example, on occasion has much higher passage rates, but you can go take a look at their passage rates if you want more information in that regard for each one of those parts. But Illinois does have the 5 failure rule, and after talking to a number of experts, based on the information we have, we're never aware of a time that they do not require the applicant to obtain the additional 960 hours. So that's a very firm rule. It's not going to be waived by the medical licensing board or the medical board now, as it's called. And the 5 failure rule is something that you need to be aware of. If you're a student, if you're looking to hire a recent graduate, you also want to be aware of it because it does potentially impact the hiring marketplace, and we wanted you to be aware. Now, another big thing is just to make sure that we clarify, this rule is actually on par. It is demonstrated with parity with MDs and DOs as well, so it is equally applied across the board. They have very similar requirements for passage of their particular parts and examinations and board examinations. Hopefully this helps you out, and we'll catch you next week.